Hello everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Today we're looking at the pronunciation of phrasal verbs. Many of us spend a lot of time learning the grammar of phrasal verbs. Actually, there's a really specific pronunciation, word stress technique that we need to use too. You can find a lot more resources on this topic in our phrasal verbs course. I've left the link in the description below, but for now, let's review the rules together. In terms of the grammar of phrasal verbs, we've already learned in other videos that we have both transitive and intransitive verbs and separable and inseparable verbs. This is really important to know, not just for the grammar and the structure of a sentence, but also for the pronunciation. So let's use some example sentences to analyze where exactly the stress goes. So let's start with the intransitive verbs, and these are nice and easy because the stress does not go on the verb, it goes on the particle. For example, my car broke down. My car broke down. Down. Very important. Some other examples. I woke up at 10 a.m. Do you want to join in? Those particles are very important. The next pattern is transitive verbs that are inseparable, and this is the opposite. The stress goes on the verb, not the object and not the particle. I count on my mum. I count on my mum. I like listening to music. We depend on our money. Then we move to the separable verbs. So in the first example, we've inserted the object in between the main verb and the particle. Now here, the important part, the stressed part, is the verb. However, the object has a kind of secondary stress, so it's also important, but not as important as the main verb. The particle does have a tiny bit of stress. It's much more important than the particles in the inseparable sentences and with intransitive verbs, but it's not the most important part of the sentence. That is the verb. I'll take my shoes off. I'll take my shoes off. Call the picnic off. Pick the children up. However, when we use an object pronoun, the stress changes. We stress both the main verb and that particle is also important. I'll take them off. I'll take them off. Call it off. Pick them up. And the final pattern is also with these separable transitive verbs. However, the object is at the end of the sentence. Here, the verb is stressed and nothing else in the sentence. I'll take off my shoes. I'll take off my shoes. Can you fill in the form? You should give back the keys. So let's take an example of the verb to hang up in the past simple, hung up, which can be both transitive and intransitive. When it's transitive, it is a separable verb. Now listen to the way that I say all of these sentences so you can hear the difference in the stress in these phrases. So intransitive, she hung up. She hung up. Transitive, with the object in the middle of the verb and the particle. She hung the phone up. She hung the phone up. Separable, with an object pronoun. She hung it up. She hung it up. So it's really important we understand how we're using phrasal verbs in sentences so we can pronounce them correctly. Now, another really important thing with phrasal verbs is that we want to use connected speech. We want to link these particles, especially if they begin with a vowel sound. We want to link those to our verb before. We would not sound like a robot. Can you fill in the form? We want to bring them together. Can you fill in the form? Fill in. That needs to connect to the it. Fill in. Can you fill in the form? You kind of have to imagine you're a little bit drunk, slurring all your words together. Can you fill in the form? Another example, can you call it off? Now here we have some more rules of connected speech. It's not just the particle that we're connecting, but also the object pronoun. Call it off. Call it off. Call it off. And the final thing I want to mention with the pronunciation of phrasal verbs is that sometimes we can convert a phrasal verb into a noun. All we need to do is put both of those parts together with no space in the middle, and of course the function and the placement is different in a sentence. And this also affects the pronunciation. For example, the plane will take off soon. The plane will take off soon. That's a phrasal verb. But when we convert it into a noun, take off is at 4 p.m. Take off is at 4 p.m. You can hear the stress is different. And this is kind of connected to that noun verb word stress. You can find some other videos on our YouTube channel that talk about this. Another example might be I work out every day. I work out every day. But as a noun, this workout is intense. This workout is intense. So there are lots of different things that we must be aware of when we're pronouncing and saying phrasal verbs in English. Please learn these rules. It will help you sound a lot more native in your conversation. You can practice this, of course, in our phrasal verbs course. I've left the link in the description below with lots more fun games and activities to help you with this pretty difficult grammar and pronunciation topic in English. If you learned something new, go ahead and like today's video and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel for lots more videos that will help you improve your English and of course learn even more new things. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.